very, very early. 3:29. Virgin Islands, here we come.
The Virgin Islands, we are small in size, but grand in all that we have to offer. And when it comes to you students, they did not go small when it came to your keynote speaker today. You are in for a treat.
So now, who is Akeem Shannon?
He is a powerhouse.
He's a motivational speaker,
He is a story architect
an entrepreneur.
and a dynamic voice of innovation.
His story is real because his success was not traditional. So without further ado, I bring to you my friend, our friend, a friend of the Virgin Islands, Akeem Shannon. Come on up, brother.
My name is Akeem Shannon, and I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I want to talk to you guys today about my journey on becoming invincible. I think when I was your age, I definitely thought that I was invincible. You could not convince me of anything else. When I was 19 years old, I had a full ride to Howard University, as you said, HBCU. And Howard ain't free like y'all university, okay? They charging big money. And I go up, and my parents are proud, and everybody's proud of me, studying chemical engineering, and I lose my scholarship. First year, and I was terrified. In fact, I was so terrified, I didn't tell my parents. I went back up to the school after they had kicked me out. And I remember sitting in the dorm, and I would stay up all night. And I wouldn't go to school during the day because they told me you can't come back to class. My mom had to call the people at the dorm. They're like, if you don't call your mom, she said she's calling the police. Still didn't tell them that I had lost this scholarship. And when Christmas came around, I finally had to make that call to let them know that their only son had flunked out of college. It was horrible. When I went home, I only knew one thing, that I didn't want my story to be college dropout Akeem Shannon. So I made myself this promise, that by the time my friends graduate college, I have to be making more than the average college graduate. And so I got to work. I started working at $10 an hour, barely above minimum wage, and I started saving, and I started investing. I started off working in a cell phone shop, just selling cell phone accessories. But by the time my friends were getting ready to graduate, I was making nearly $90,000 a year, and I had saved up nearly $100,000. See, I took that failure, when you're in school, whoever got applause when they failed a test? Or when you flunked a class? Never, right? But in life, sometimes we have to turn failure into features. Because if you're doing anything worth doing in life, I can promise you this, you will fail. And if you're not failing, you're not trying. Oh man, we have had 2 amazing days here. Honestly, you undersold it. You undersold it. I mean, these kids have just they've inspired me. I mean, you saw the crowd today.
Yes.
They came up here, they were telling their story. I mean, people were crying. I mean, it's unbelievable. I hope it's clear to you that when you have opportunities, you should take it. And I'm gonna give somebody right now the opportunity to come on stage, share their either idea or their product, something that they want to create, a dream that they have, a talent they have, something like that. Who's interested in doing it? Well, right here, come on up. Give her a round of applause, everybody.
Well, my name is Tiana Davis. I was a part of the LIFT internship program. I'm planning on mastering in architecture to eventually design residential areas for people with disabilities, so that they're able to live more efficiently either on their own or with their family.
Question for you. What inspired you to want to do that? Because that's very specific, especially at your age.
A few of you may know, but my older brother, he has a traumatic brain injury, and he's one of my biggest inspirations in life.
It's all right. You're all right. Take your time.
My older brother, he was younger. He got into a car accident, and they weren't expecting him to live, but he did. And he has one of the most kindest artists that I know of. And through my entire life, he's been one of my biggest inspirations. Just the way that he lives his life, the way that he perseveres through different struggles. And he inspires me to want to help other people. No matter what I do, I feel my purpose in life is to help others. So
Give her a round of applause. The reason that I asked you that second part is because I knew that type of mission, it doesn't come from nowhere. That mission is important. And what I want you to do is I want you to take that story and I want you to look in the mirror. I want you to tell it again and again, because here's the thing. If you walk up to someone, if you tell those people, I want to do this because of my brother, he wasn't even supposed to be here, but he is here. And he is one of the best persons I know. They will believe in you, invest in you, hire you, and you will build those buildings when you share that story. I promise you that. I promise you that. I promise you that. So this is just a little bit. Come here. Thank you. Thank you.
They're the star of the whole night.
I was actually talking to her before you even mentioned the whole like volunteer thing. I was saying I'm gonna go up to him and talk to him afterwards, and just like I don't really go up and like take opportunities like that. I'm a shy person.
Mm-hmm.
But like no one raised their hand, so like, I'm just gonna do it, and I did it, and then.
I'm so proud of you for doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm proud of myself too, because I don't do stuff.
and
like
you
that
know,
at
like
all.
you really like stole the show.
So like difficult for me to tell my story, and I don't like do that often. So it actually like felt nice to actually like put that out there.
And it's so important, like, being in this social media world that we're in, we get the glossy version of every story. No one wants to talk about the things that didn't work out, the things that make them sad. Everyone wants to say, oh, look how overnight success. That's how people paint it. Like, that is not the story. Stop saying that. That's no one's story. When we tell the authentic story, because we're human, we all know what we go through. Even if we don't tell people, we know what we've gone through, we know what we've been through. When someone comes to us and they tell their authentic story, we can't help but to listen. And so that's why when I knew something was there, I was like, I gotta pull it out. One of the things that I always talk about is like how you turn your story into a trailer. And like when you think about a movie, there's always conflict, there's always issues, there's problems. And then there's the hero's journey that's there too. But without the conflict and the issues, no one's watching that movie. And so it's like when you tell authentic stories, that the truth, because ain't nothing better than the truth. Like, man, people cannot help but to listen to you. So I'm very appreciative of you for just taking your time and sharing. It really meant a lot to me. I think that to me, this model that you guys have here is something that needs to be replicated in a lot of different parts of the country. And I've been so blown away. You know, yesterday was amazing. Today was just unbelievable because the energy from the students, like you can tell, they've learned a lot. There's so much passion. So here's what I want to ask you. Do you provide the opportunity for them? You know, they're getting all these jobs. You decide to bring in a keynote speaker and you picked me to come in. Now, what was it that you wanted for the students to take away from me being here? And then do you think that we were able to deliver on that?
After hearing your presentation in Colorado, even though it was to a different audience, and looking at the Virgin Islands and what we're trying to achieve, there's no reason or no way we were not going to get you here.
I want to see, does anybody have any questions for me? Raise your hand if you got a question. And I know a lot of stuff about a lot of things. That's a great question. She said, how did I get the confidence to go out and show my product and break the rules? I think for me personally, I've just always been that person. I'm a bull in a china shop. Like, I'm just going to do it and figure the rest out later. But I think also there's a little bit of like desperation to prove myself. You know, I had to make it work. But here's the other piece. Sometimes you just got to fake it till you make it. And when I was walking into a lot of these rooms, I had to fake it. I had to just tell myself I'm meant to be here.
Oh yes, thank you.
So I had a question about, more motivation tips. I do voice work, so one of the things I deal with problems is, as you said, rejection. It hurts.
Yeah.
And one of the things that happened with me is it never really seems to be enough.
If you're a type of person like you are, where when something doesn't work out, or even if you get someone to say a good job, you get the part, and it doesn't feel like enough, that is really the heart of a true champion. That's someone that can go out and do extraordinary things because you're always looking forward to the next thing. However, it can also hurt you because it means that sometimes you don't take the time to be present in the moment you're in today and appreciate yourself for what you have right now because you're always looking toward the future. And so when you look at all those different pieces, whether they're good, whether they go good or bad, remember they're leading you on some journey. And if you keep in your mind that, hey, here's my ultimate goal, focus on that and understand the path won't be straight. But as long as you know that's your goal, just take everything else in stride and realize it's getting you to the point. You tell me, how many kids are applying for this program? How do you find them? How do you get them motivated? And how many are in the program? Tell me.
Well, I'll tell you that's always a challenge. And we had a very, very good opportunity this year because we had over 1,240 students applied to be in the program this year. And again, that's because we cut off from February to April, 1,240 applications.
Wow.
Now, it always becomes a challenge because it's all based on funding. We could only fund about 817.
Ooh,
so about
800 is a lot.
About 75%. So we were able to fund 817 students through this program, territory-wide.
Listen, you know, I wish that I could stand here in front of you today and say that through this whole journey, I am now invincible. But I'm not. I showed you that roller coaster earlier for a reason. Because after every peak, every high you have, you can almost guarantee that you will hit a low. And what happens to most people when they hit a low in life? They stop. Pump the brakes. Whoa, I'm going downhill. But who's ever been on a roller coaster? What happens after you go down a hill? You go back up again. Don't hit the brakes. People will tell you to hit the brakes. Your fear may cause you to hit the brakes. But if you're true to yourself, you'll ride that ramp down and you'll shoot back up to the other side. And I promise you that next peak will always be higher than the previous one if you keep going. So look, I'm not invincible. And you may not be invincible either. But I can promise you this. You can always be becoming invincible. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. My name is Akeem Shannon.
Thank you for having me. It is an honor to be here and I can't wait to be back.
Thank you again. And definitely we're going to spread the word and again, we're going to make sure that that you are a permanent resident of the Virgin Islands.
Listen, I need to give you my beach house.
All right. Thank you again.
Care.
Thank you.
Of course.